Jai Baba. Nothing is real but God. Nothing matters but love for God. God is the only reality. All else that seems real is illusion. God and I are one. Meher Baba. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Thanks to beloved Baba and Jai Baba to all of you. We are reading the book called Conversations with the Awakener by Bal Nathu, and we are on page number 14, and the chapter is called Quiet Arrival, Astounding Exit. As I had said earlier, this is a conversation, the inner conversation between Bal Nathu, who was Baba's Bandali, and he calls Baba the Awakener. And of course, Baba had dropped his body after at that time, but he is getting those messages from the Awakener. It's a very beautiful book where some of the very intimate emotions that we feel in our day-to-day life, he is exhibiting that, he is manifesting that for us, and he's getting the answer from the Awakener. So here we go, page number 14.
Quiet arrival, astounding exit. I woke up from a restful, refreshing sleep. I don't remember whether it was night or the early hours of the morning. I was warm and secure in my bed, a lamp dimly burning on the table while drizzling rain blew against the window panes. What a contrast between two worlds, the world outside and the warm, secure realm of my room. Heart filled to the brim with joy and gratitude, I could not lie idle in my bed any longer. So I went to the table to compose words of praise. Whether I was belittling your glory by abandoning my silent awe, or whether it was your presence that impelled me to write, I do not know. But as I commenced writing, I heard a knock at the door. With a surge of annoyance, I wondered who could possibly be disturbing me at such an unearthly hour. I ignored the knock and continued to write. But before I had finished the first sentence, there was a second knock. My inspiration was interrupted and my irritation increased, but I did not get up. As I was groping for words, within a few seconds, a third knock came. Out of
Okay.
patience, and with sharp words on my tongue, I lunged to open the door. And what a surprise! It was you, standing in the rain, your clothes sopping wet. Come in, I cried, full of joy and amazement. And I rushed to fetch a towel and clothes. But when I returned, I found you had gone. The moment I had wished to offer my gratitude, you appeared. The moment I wished to express my affection, you were gone. I went to bed but could not sleep. I was waiting for another knock at the door, but I waited in vain.
So here I feel the important areas of this particular conversation is here Baba says, Bal Nathuji says, whether I was belittling your glory by abandoning my silent awe, or whether it was your presence that impelled me to write, I do not know. Many times it happens, I'm just giving an example, that we are deeply entrenched in thinking about Baba, in awe about Baba, of Baba, in praise of Baba, in gratitude to Baba, and all of a sudden we realize, oh, time for Aarti, let's say, for example, or prayers. So, what is more important? The feeling that I'm having at that time, or I'm supposed to do something at a certain time, and so I break this feeling and go and attend the aarti, or attend in the sense, do the aarti if you are at home and do the prayer. That dilemma many of us may have faced, at least I remember having faced that, that the most natural, spontaneous way we are remembering him, we are in awe of him, we are praising him, we are communicating with him, we are talking to him internally, and all of a sudden you realize that, oh, it's time for whatever, prayers or arti or whatever, and then we break. So dilemma is, which is more profound, the first or the second? Each one has to get the answer for himself or herself. But personally, my personal opinion is, I feel that the former, the earlier one, is more important, and therefore it doesn't matter if you do not attend the aarti or the prayer. You are deeply entrenched in your thinking about Baba. So that was one thing which I realized. The second thing is, here he is inspired to write something for Baba, and there is a knock, and he feels disturbed, and he feels it as an interruption. He feels it as an interruption in what he calls as, my inspiration is interrupted. Thinking about inspiration and interruption, I am reminded of a very humorous incident that happened in the period of Manzil-e-Meem in Mumbai. I'll make it very short. Oh, why should I make it short? I'll make it a little elongated. Baba never allows the mandali to sit idle. He would always be up to something or the other, and he would always be encouraging people around him to be more creative. Creative would be in writing poems, writing dramas, doing acting, doing painting, doing dancing, whatever it is, art form. So during the Manzile Meem, Baba would call during the evening time all the Mandalis and then ask them to, write a poem during the day and then recite in the evening. So each one would do that. And Baba would never condemn anybody. He would never put down anybody. He would only encourage and uplift. So when there was a gentleman by the name of Rustam Jafrabadi. He had come from Persia, now it is Iran, and he had joined Baba, and he had no sense of poetry, let's put it that way. But he said, Baba, I would also like to compose some poem. So he did something the next day, and obviously it was not up to the mark. There was no, what we call as, no rhyme, no rhythm, no nothing, but no meter, yes. But Baba would never discourage anybody. So Baba would only say, wow, 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 wow. So nice, very good. Baba would encourage. And as Baba would encourage Rustam Jafrabadi, he would become more and more enthused to write more number of pages. And every time he writes, Baba would say, wow, wow, wow. Then one fine day, we all know Baba was very mischievous. So he calls all the Mandali people and says, here we have a poet who is par excellence, and he writes such beautiful poetry. And everybody knew that Baba was pulling a fast one. So we need to give him some name, nom de plume we call it, pen name. So everybody thought about it, what should be given, what should be given. And then Dr. Ghani, we all know Dr. Ghani Munsif, he said, Baba, there was a very great poet in Persia, and he had also come from Persia, Rustam. There's a very great poet from Persia, and his name was Bidal. So why don't we call this gentleman Rustam Baidul? So from on that day, he was nomenclated, he was, what should I say, christened. He was christened as Baidul. And then after some time, Baba said, no, but this, our Baidul, is much better than that Bidal. So Baidul is a very common name. We must give him some title of authority. So then they all decided to give him the title Aga Baidul. That is how Aga Baidul is there in the month. So Aga Baidul means the great Baidul, the great Baidul. And then that name was there. And now Baidul is on the ninth cloud, whatever you call it. And he said, "Wow, I am such a great poet and all that." So he told Baba that Baba
He's riding the train, the tram, he got
no, but
lost.
inspiration. Okay. So Soumya is correcting me. One fine day, normally they are supposed to come back after whatever their allotted duties outside the manzil mean, and come back by about 7 o'clock in the evening. On that particular day, Aga Baidul did not come till quite late, and he came very late. So when Baba asked, what stopped you from coming? How is it that you? So he said that the inspiration came to me as I was traveling in the tram. In those days, there were trams, if you know, tram in Bombay. The inspiration came to me, and I quite forgot to get down at the station. So he went a couple of stations more, and then he had to return, and that is why he got delayed. Then Baba said, now from today onwards, no writing in the train. Only you have to write in the tram. Sorry, in the tram. No writing outside. You must focus on the job, focus on the work. Only after you come back to Manzil-e-Meem, at that time you should write. So Baidul agreed to it. Then again, after a few days, Baidul tells Baba, this inspiration comes absolutely all of a sudden, and my pen is not fast enough to move according to my thoughts that I'm getting, the inspiration that I'm getting. So I need to have some secretary. I need to have an assistant to write down the moment I get this inspiration. Sorry?
Ascribe.
Ascribe. Okay, ascribe. So Baba thought for a moment, and he attached Dr. Ghani, because Dr. Ghani was the one who suggested the name. So Baba says, from today, I am deputing Ghani to be your scribe, to be your secretary. So as and whenever you feel like asking, you can ask him to write. So one fine day, what happened? A very, very humorous thing happened. Ghani was in the toilet. He was in the toilet, and there was a knock on the door. Ghani is shouting from inside, "Who is it?" He said, "It's me, Aga Baidu." So, what is it? No, I'm getting this. There's a certain word for it. When you get that inspiration, there's a certain word. It will come. So I'm getting that inspiration. Come out immediately. He said, I'm in the toilet. How can I? No, nothing doing. Baba has attributed this job to you. Come out. So poor fellow, without even putting the string of the whatever you call it, the pajama, he comes out and he starts writing whatever Aga Baidul is dictating. And when this episode was narrated to Baba, he had a very, very hearty laugh. So here we are talking about interruption to the inspiration. So when I read this word inspiration and interruption, I thought about this very humorous episode that happened during the Manzil-e-Meem time. That was in 1922-23. Manzil-e-Meem is at Dadar, around in Mumbai. All right, I think Mayor has something to share. Mayor, go ahead.
Cyrus uncle,
Yes.
sometime back, there was a story. I don't this thing. It had come about Adi. This thing that when Baba wanted some vegetables in the night, he told Adi that to go to the vegetable person and get it at some odd hour in the night. And like that, he knocked at the door, and he said, "Who is it?" That person never opened the door. And I think he went twice. This was Baba wanted it, some kothmir or something, is this thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
But it was not Adi, it was Eraj.
Okay, Eraj.
It was Eraj. And he had a fight with him just the day before, regarding some cleanliness and all that, the vegetable. Yeah, correct. Right. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mera. All right. So now we go ahead with the quiet arrival and astounding exit. And now the last paragraph also is very beautiful. The moment I wished to offer my gratitude, gratitude is an extremely important aspect in spirituality. Actually, what gratitude means is to accept whatever situation you are in as coming from Baba. Acceptance of what is, in my understanding, is gratitude. One another aspect of gratitude is that you praise and you thank and all that. But in the ultimate analysis, gratitude means acceptance of what is and whatever situation one is placed in. So here he says, the moment I wished to offer my gratitude, you appeared. The moment I wished to express my affection, you were gone. So Baba is not here for our affection in a sense. He is there to receive our gratitude. That's how I would look at it. Now there's a sub story in the story. That's point number 2. Go ahead.
The days passed and you did not come. Every time someone knocked on the door, I leaped up expectantly, but it was never you. My disappointment deepened. I began to grumble at you. How strange are your ways. And finally, I decided to write you a letter of complaint. I sat at my desk once more, filling pages, sometimes shedding tears, but all the while, in the back of my mind, hoping, expecting, even demanding to hear your knock. But there was no knock. How is this? Before, when I had scarcely written a few words, you appeared. Now I've written what looks like a chapter, and still there's no sign of you. I went to the door and pulled it open. Surely you would be there, smiling silently as before, or so I thought. But you weren't there.
So many times it does happen with us also, that we want a repetition of something that has happened before in our life, and it had given us a kind of a consolation, a kind of a good feeling, a kind of a aha kind of a feeling. And once that happens, we are expecting it all the time to happen. And we are in a frame of mind where, as he writes, every knock at the door, he would leap out in the expectation that it is Baba. I would always use the word Baba because he is using the word Awakener, that it is Baba, but he was not there. But so many times it does happen to us as well, isn't it? That we want certain occasion to repeat itself, and in the hope and in the expectation of that, at the back of the mind, you are awaiting that. This is my experience, so I am just telling you. I've been sharing quite a few of my personal experiences as well. Once it so happened that Soumya had taken a flight somewhere for some whatever, of a personal work, and she was returning, and I was at the airport to receive her. And it was getting late, and she was not coming. And mind you, every other girl or woman, if you may, who comes, I would assume it is Soumya. For somehow the reason or the other, you get that facial expression that it is she. And then when the person comes closer, no, 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 this is not her. I'm sure you may have had such experiences where you are expecting a certain person, and it is not him or her, but your mind is, what should I say, making up stories as if this is the same person. And when somebody comes closer, you realize, oh no, it's not him. So this is again, he is expressing what I'm trying to convey is that in this book, he is expressing and manifesting, which I suppose most of us go through. And not only he's expressing, but he's giving us a solution for that through Baba, through the Awakener, as to how we should behave and how we should respond to such situations. So again, he says that I have complained, and to complain is also the right of the lover or the beloved. It's not just praising, but even in that complaint, there is that element of longing to see him, to be one with him. So complaint is perfectly okay to make, and I'm sure many of us also do complain to Baba, fight with Baba. In Hindi we say नाराज हो जाना, नाराजगी बताना, नाराज हो जाते, we get what should I say, नाराज, We are not angry, okay, angry, we are displeased with him, and we turn our face away from him as if Baba cares, but Baba does care. So this is what all those emotions are now sprouting up. Now this is third chapter, third one, in the same.
Again, the days passed, my heart heavy, my mind in a turmoil. Slowly, the bitterness began to fade. Though I missed you still, I was no longer angry with you for refusing to come. Perhaps your silent, unseen showers of grace had rounded the edges of my demand and expectation and mellowed me.
So beautiful language, yeah. Rounded the edges of my demand and rounded. That means if they are not so sharp now, I'm not so angry now, I'm not so okay, I have mellowed down. So in a sense,
That is his unseen shower of grace.
yeah, unseen shower of grace. In a sense, what it shows is time is the greatest healer. As time goes, our anger, our whatever negative emotions that we may have, it, it, it calms down. We are hurt, we are angry, we are envious, we are spiteful, whatever negative aspect that we may have towards the other. Now here it doesn't belong that in that sense, but even otherwise, over a period of time, it just rounds up, it just mellows down, it just softens, it just becomes less and less rigid. We become a little mellowed down, settled and mellowed down.
One evening, as I was folding down my bedsheet, I heard the sound of soft footsteps, and looking up, there you were, standing before me. Your smile was an emanation of the purest love and concern for me, but I greeted you with a cold expression. Some of my pent up resentment returned to me.
Don't you think we also do that in our so-called physical love stories, husband and wife, mother and child, and all that? That when you are angry, and then all of a sudden that person shows up, and you do what is known as, nakhra. You just as if, oh, I never pined for you, I never cared for you, something like that. So he said that when you came up, I made it look as if I'm not hurt at all. When you are hurt, you make it look that you are not hurt at all. It doesn't matter. I don't care, kind of thing. Can you read the last
Your
bit?
smile was an emanation of the purest love and concern for me, but I greeted you with a cold expression. Some of my pent up resentment returns to me.
We turn a cold shoulder, we call it. I don't care. That kind of thing.
What happened to you? You asked me. Nothing, I replied sullenly. Anything to ask me? No. Any problems? Any complaints? Not at the moment. Do you wish me to tell you something? I don't know. Are you displeased with me? Not exactly.
Just imagine the beloved of the beloved, the highest of the high, the awakener. Baba is asking his lover, are you upset with me? Are you angry with me? Are you displeased with me? Just here.
But by now I was shaken. It is I who am supposed to please you, and yet you asked me, are you displeased with me? You went on. Your silence conveys to me that you are restraining yourself from expressing something that is in your heart. Feel free. Have I wronged you in any way? My reserve could not resist your gentle concern. I could no longer withhold my feelings and blurted out. Why did you disappear when I saw you at the door? And why didn't you return when my tears blurred the words I wrote? Oh, you mean that? Now I understand.
See how Baba is making, what should I say? Making Baba is making it very simple, very low,
Light.
Very light. That's the correct word. Baba is making very light of the situation. Oh, is that what you are talking about? And actually, Baba used to do that in his physical ministry. There could be so much of hangama. Oh, it's such a small thing, nothing much. Such a simple thing, and you are upset with that kind of thing. So, oh, you mean that?
Oh, you mean that? Now I understand. But whatever happened was for your good in order to touch a deep level of your heart.
Now, this is very important, that this game of love, which is played between the beloved God and his lover or disciple, this pull and push, that in order for Baba to touch the very core of our being, our core of our heart, he plays that game so that we are in a turmoil, we are disturbed, we don't know what to do, and in that absolute helplessness and hopelessness, there is no one else we can go to but to
And
Baba.
he becomes all consuming
Yeah,
for us.
all consume, and we go to that deeper depths which otherwise we could not have plumbed. You see, he plays that game so that he puts us in a fix, where we have no other alternative but to go within deeper and deeper and touch that core of our being, and from there we call him out. Can you read the last line again?
Oh,
Oh,
you mean that? Now I understand. But whatever happened was for your good in order to touch a deep level of your heart. Your calling me with expectation became a curtain which divided us and kept me hidden from you. Your acceptance of the situation as being my will invited me back to you.
what a profound statement for all of us. Baba says, "You're calling me with expectation." That means if we are calling Baba with some expectation that he should do this for us or do that for us, became a curtain which divided us and kept me hidden from you. It is not that Baba is not there. Baba is always there, everywhere. But our expectation creates a curtain which hides Baba from us. I hope I'm making myself clear. The very expectation is creating a veil, a curtain, which is hiding Baba from us. And then Baba says, your acceptance of the situation as being my will invited me back to you. That means the moment we are resigned to his will, the moment we are in a state of acceptance, in a state of resignation, in a state of surrenderance, in a state of gratitude, which is the same as accepting, then it would invite Baba in our presence. Read this again.
Your calling me with expectation became a curtain which divided us and kept me hidden from you. Your acceptance of the situation as being my will invited me back to you.
So, in other words, we are expected to accept every situation which you are in as Baba has put me in this situation. It is one of the six, my wish, by Baba is saying my wish. One of the points where Baba says that whatever situation that you are put, think honestly and sincerely that Baba has placed me in this situation. Go ahead.
My spirit lightened and I answered, that's why you have come now. Overwhelmed by your radiance, I closed my eyes. When I opened them again, I saw that a storm had broken outside. There was a flash of lightning, and you stepped into it and were gone. What an astounding exit! Is it your nature to arrive quietly and vanish like lightning? I will have to wait for another visit to ask you this question.
Bal Nathuji said, so this is how Baba is playing the game. He comes, he shows his beautiful, absolutely awesome form for a split second, and then he goes away. And in that, he raises our, our love for him, our longing to see him more and more. All right. Any questions on this one, or shall we move further? I don't think there's any question about question. All right. Go ahead.
Just one tear. There has never been a sigh of mine ignored by you, and never a call which you did not respond to. I have lived my life foolishly and recklessly, yet you never uttered a word of reprimand. In all my moments of suffering, I have found you standing beside me. For your benevolence, I never showed any gratitude. You never showed the slightest sign of expecting any.
So here what is important is at any given point in time, if we have this feeling within us that Baba is not with us, then Baba says that I am always with you. It is you who are absenting yourself from my presence. I had told this many times before that once in the Mehrazad Mandali hall, Baba had asked a few of his Mandali disciples to just for a moment, Baba was sitting on the Mehrazad chair, the chair which we revere and bow down to in Mehrazad hall. Baba was sitting on that, and there were a few people, maybe 4, 5, 6, 7. And Baba said, I want you to do something now just for about a minute or two. And what is that? To close the eyes and visualize Baba's form at the area of the third eye. Just visualize my form. So everybody did that. And then in a minute or two, Baba snapped and they opened their eyes. And Baba pointedly asked Brevizon, Francis Brevizon. We all know Francis Brevizon. He was a Sufi sheikh. He was a master. He was having a robe. And when he came to know about Meher Baba, he disrobed himself, so to speak, discarded his robe and joined Baba as Baba's disciple. So Francis told Baba, Baba, you come and go. You come and go. That was the experience. Baba asked Francis, what was your experience? What did you find when you closed your eyes? He said, Baba, you come and go. And that is where Baba said a very profound sentence. No, he said, I am always there. It is you who come and go. In other words, when we find Baba is not there in our life, we feel we are all alone. That is where it means that we have gone so much within ourselves, selfishness, self-centeredness, that we are unable to find Baba's presence within us. In one of Bal Natuji's book, I don't know which one, I read again words to the effect where he talks about loneliness. I am feeling lonely. I am feeling bored. I don't feel your presence. Again, I'm saying, paraphrasing, it's not the exact words. And he's complaining to Baba that how I'm feeling very lonely and bored. And then what Baba replies, paraphrasing, words to the effect, boredom is a lethargic void. I repeat, boredom is a lethargic void, you know. And then Baba goes on to say, you feel lonely when you fail to see my aloneness in everyone and everything. I repeat, these are words to the effect. When we read it in this book or in any of the 4 series which we hopefully will complete, that means when you are feeling lonely, it means we are failing to dive into the ocean of aloneness, which is Baba. See, there's a difference between loneliness and aloneness. Baba is playing on those words. Baba alone is. There's a film called, You Alone Exist. Baba alone is. And when we fail to see the aloneness of Baba in everyone and everything, that Baba is only there in everyone and everything, it is then we feel lonely because we are not able to dive deep into Baba's omnipresence.
Hmm.
So that is when we feel lonely. So loneliness is because of our own incapacity to plunge into the aloneness of Baba. Words to the effect again. All right. So here, where were we? Okay. Then Baba says, Bal Natuji says, irrespective of who we are, what we are, Baba never reprimands anybody. He never castigates anybody. He never puts down anybody. He just accepts our tantrum. He is accepting our tantrum. Can you imagine? So you're just read again if you don't mind. I have
I
lived.
have lived my life foolishly and recklessly, yet you never uttered a word of reprimand. In all my moments of suffering, I have found you standing beside me. For your benevolence, I never showed any gratitude. You never showed the slightest sign of expecting any. Lately, you have been frequenting my residence whether I have called you or not. Whether we converse or remain together in silence, you shower on me your unconditional peace.
So this is what most people who have been in the physical presence of Baba felt, that even if there is no activity around Baba, no activity at all, there his presence is so awesome that it permeates love and it permeates peace within that environment. You see, so there's no need for any bhashan, any lecture, any discourse, anything, even not even bhajan or ghazal. They are there. But even if nothing is there, that silence, even if it is just silent, just by being in his presence, you feel awed by his whatever you call it,
Unconditional peace.
his unconditional peace, awed by his presence, you can say.
Why should you visit me? Is there any logic to this? It is that love is a law unto itself. Logic will never unravel the mystery of love or love's disregard of merit. Logic will exhaust itself trying to fathom how love can be so indiscreet.
So here, Baba, we are talking about logic, which is something to do with the mind, thought, rationale, arguments, discussion, choices, decisions, all that. And as against this, we have love, where there is no question of anything. You just give, you just love. So here very beautifully says that love is a law unto itself. In one other message, Baba says the greatest law of God is love that holds the key to all problems. So love is the topmost, the highest. So here it is said, love is a law unto itself. You don't require any other law. Logic will never unravel the mystery of love. You cannot unravel the mystery of what is love. You cannot logically you cannot understand love or love's disregard of merit. Love is disregard of merit. To give an example, if a mother, which means a parent, has say two children, three children, and one son or one daughter does not have any merit, then whom will the mother love more? The one who is having no merit. We have seen it often, that the person who has no merits, a person who is actually not on a straight line, he's doing some garbadi, as we call it. But the mother will only love because the love of the mother does not see the merit. We do not see, love does not see the merit, whether it is dark or white skinned son or daughter, whether he's intelligent or unintelligent, whether he's good behaved or wrong behaved. They will not see, love will not see any merit. So love's disregard of merit, logic will never be able to unravel. Logic will exhaust itself. Means if you are trying to understand, debate, discuss and all that, logic will exhaust itself trying to fathom, trying to plumb, trying to understand, trying to fathom how love can be so indiscreet. Love is very indiscreet. When you love somebody, it is just indiscreet. There's no logic to it.
Each of your visits has been a priceless, profound gift to me. But the visit that intrigued me the most was the shortest one. You came for a moment and then you left. You did not gesture anything. Yet I cannot forget that intimate glance or the urgency I saw in your expression. Had you said a word or two, I would have understood or misunderstood. But you were silent. That really scared me, and I was left at a loss. As you were leaving, I saw one large tear rolling down your cheek. Just one. It had a rare sparkle and a glowing transparency. What it meant, I could not guess. I do not understand it to this day. That single tear has affected my entire being, yet I am unable to fathom its significance. So, a number of possibilities spill out of my heart. Were you displeased with me and yet refrain from saying so? I am grieved if this is so. Or was it that you were pleased with me too much so for words to say? If it is this, then I'm blessed, though I can think of nothing I have ever done to please you. Or perhaps you foresaw some future suffering for me and out of love were unable to hold a tear. If that is the case, then please be my companion when that time arrives and sustain my trust in you, which is your gift to me. Or was the tear a belated response to some earlier unanswered call? Or was it a gentle reprimand for my forgetfulness of you? I assure you that with your help, I will do my best to remain centered in you in the midst of all my daily chores and activities. Or was the tear a crystal clear sign of your love, regardless of what I do or fail to do? What a wretch I am to displease you. You are love, and what a love. You guide me and awaken confidence in me in my moments of deepest confusion and diffidence. You could have simply said to me, even hurriedly, you are mine. But what presumption to suggest to you what you should say or do? Forgive my impertinence. Your ways are infinitely direct and unconditional. But it is no wonder that my cunning, bargaining, purpose seeking mind cannot understand you and your ways. So, excuse me for what I have expressed here. Let that one unique tear be my guiding star to live a life worthy enough to please you, at least some of the time. Let the sparkle of the tear mirror to me in advance the moment I'm about to displease you so that I can correct myself. I pray to you for this saving grace.
I don't think this requires any explanation. It only shows the surging of the heart, where the shortest visit which Baba paid to the author, he didn't say anything and he just went by. And as he was going by, he sees or observes one sparkling tear coming out of the eyes of the beloved, and he's now guessing what could be the purpose of that. So many or is that. Now talking about a glance, at least those who have met Baba, they say that Baba's eyes were never steady. They were always roving around. You see, eyes were all the time roving around. Very rarely he would see somebody and ask and gesture as to how are you, how is your wife, did you sleep well, and all that. But most of the time it would be roving around. And all the people would be eager to have that, even that sideways glance, side glance as we call, from Baba specifically on a particular person. I remember an instance, this has nothing to do with the glance as such, but since it came, I'm just saying. And this was, if I'm not mistaken, narrated by Naju Kotwal. Naju Kotwal was the daughter of Savak and Nargis Kotwal, who lived with Baba. Savak was Baba's Mandali. And Naju had written a very nice book called He Gives the Ocean. So one of the stories goes that Naju had always had the habit of sitting in the front line of Baba. Whenever the darshan program would be there, thousands and thousands of people would be there. And Baba would be, casting his glance everywhere, and Naju obviously would be in the very first few rows where she can see Baba pointedly and Baba can see her. Now, one fine day, before she could come, all the rows, the front rows were all occupied and in Guru Prasad. And when this function was happening, Guru Prasad would meet. The backside of Guru Prasad had a long. It may not be East-West gathering, I don't know. Those who have not seen Guru Prasad, if you go to Pune, you see the Guru Prasad Memorial, and a huge complex is there where it's a Guru Prasad, a cooperative housing society. Now, the whole backside was where the pandal, what we call as the Shamyana or pandal, used to be put up, and thousands of people would sit there. So she was very late and she could only find a place way behind. And the program was going on. And just a thought passed Naju's mind. Would Baba know that I am sitting over here? Because I am sitting so far away that where there are thousands and thousands of people, how would Baba know everybody? Just then, there was an announcement at the mic, that Baba is dictating that Naju, where is Naju? Or why is she sitting so far away? Ask her to come in the front. Something like that. So in other words, in Baba's presence, everybody would pine to have Baba's attention. And Baba would give attention to everybody. And everybody's feeling would be that, yes, Baba is giving me a special care, a special love, a special glance, and a special nazar. Now, there was one sentence here where he said, is it that I have displeased you? That is what one of the emotional outbursts was in this particular chapter. And I remember, I won't name the person because the person is very close to somebody who attends our session. So he would be at the Bombay Center, he would be the regular speaker on the Sunday meetings. And in one of the Sunday meetings, he, a very emotional person, some people may guess the moment I'm giving the hint. Okay, take it easy. So he said, same thing, that Baba's, the whole environment is so rich, so loving, so surcharged with peace, with love, with energy, with goodness and all that. And he said that on that particular day or around that particular time, he had done something which he felt Baba would be displeased with. I should not have done that, kind of a thing. And as he was narrating on the mic, he said, never, ever do something that would displease Baba, Because once if Baba's gaze moves out, this is how we should, moves away from you, means he makes it an effort, Baba makes an effort to move his gaze away from you, that could be worse than hell. And he started crying out on the mic itself. Something may have happened. Obviously, he never disclosed anything. So he felt that on a particular occasion, when he went to Baba with the hope that Baba would be asking the usual question lovingly, his Baba's gaze he just moved his gaze away from. So that just when I was reading this, a thought occurred, so I thought I would share this episode. Anything to ask in this? Nothing. We still have a small one, so we can finish one more.
The meteoric way. Your first loving parental glance invited me home. It directly reached the core of my being, gracefully pulling me out of my lifelong ruts, casting me on a meteoric way to you. That very moment, I felt within me a unique jolt which conveyed that I am nothing but a transient spark that parted from you, the sun, eons ago, seeking, groping, not knowing what. I was not yet aware that this was the blessed moment in which you brought me within the intimate orbit of your gravitation, a sign that my real journey had begun. For a while, my spirit quaked before the dark, immeasurable chasm that stretched before me. And yet my heart rejoiced with the certainty that it was now bound for home. What drastic changes your glance produced in me. The veils of my so called wisdom, so proudly worn, now voluntarily dropped away, revealing that I am no longer a teacher of anyone. I was, it was goodbye to that teacher business for good. This discovery made me chuckle wholeheartedly, especially when I heard the world heave a sigh of relief too.
And he was himself a teacher actually. Balnathu was a teacher by profession.
So, no more masks, no more deceit. After all, trying to be selfless is just a sophisticated form of selfishness in respectable garb. This made clear to me that there is no need for me to imitate or emulate anyone. How could I do so when I feel that it would dishonor your call? Now, sometimes I feel I belong to no one and that no one belongs to me. At times, I feel I don't even belong to myself. What a strange predicament. Life has become an adventure full of suspense, comprising moments of fear and agony, interspersed with moments of security and bliss. This meteoric way hurtles through the dark void of ignorance to crash into the fullness of your being, the abode of light, the source of all meteors.
Again, basically here there's nothing much to be explained. These are just some meanings that I had written which I can speak up. A meteor is something, that is very brilliant and it goes at a very fast speed. So here, I don't think there's much to be explained. It just says that your
We are like meteors. We are a meteority.
yeah. Okay, let me read it again. Chalo, okay. Let me see what is the other one because there are only about 5-7 minutes left. But the other one is a little bigger. No, so I'll just read this one. Your first loving parental glance invited me home. Capital H. That means most of us who have come to Baba have come because of his, in a sense, parental glance. We consider him as our master, as our father figure, as the head of the family, as somebody whom we love and respect. He directly reached the core of my being, gracefully pulling me out of my lifelong ruts, casting me on a meteoric way to you. My personal feeling is most of us, when we first came to know about Baba, it was not a lackadaisical chalta hai, hota hai kind of thing. Later on, we may become like this, But initially, it was a pull that one cannot resist. Something within us tells us, oh, we are going home. We are on our adventure to reach home, and we move fast. We want to hear everybody. We want to see everything. This pandemic has really helped so many of the newcomers who would jump from one session to the other, to the third, to the fourth. They would just do. Why? Because they have the appetite to know more and more about the beloved. They want to know more and more. And even though one may sit for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 2 hours, one might get just, this is how I experienced right there in 1968. Just, I would sit with people who had been with Baba and just be there and listen to what they are talking about, discussing about Baba's beauty, about his greatness and all that. And in that 1 or 2 hours, I may just find one sentence or even one word, like a take home for today. Okay, I got something today. And I'm sure most of you, most of us do get it ongoingly. And there's such a huge appetite for all of us to attend as many sessions as we can, so that we can get as much as we can. And to that extent, this pandemic has really opened up, vast vistas of that food for Baba. That very moment, I felt within me a unique jolt which conveyed that I am nothing but a transient spark that parted from you, the sun, eons ago, seeking, groping, not knowing what. In other words, we are all, in a sense, sparks of that sun called Baba. At one time in Baba's ministry, he had given a prayer to be recited by all the monthly members for a very limited period of time, and it went something like this, that again, words to the effect, I tend to forget that God is infinite and I am a part of that infinite. Soumya, do you remember? Something like that. That God is infinite and that I am a part of that infinity. But these may not be the exact words, but some kind of a focused meditation or thought or prayer, whatever you call it. No, this is not the exact word. No. There's something else. But anyway, it will come. It will come when it wants to come. No, I'm sorry. Infinite God is within me.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that one. Infinite God. See, when you let go, if it wants to come, it will come. It comes. If we start consciously wanting to get that, it will run away. That's the whole. So the beautiful prayer is, infinite God is within me, and I am a part of that infinity. So these are the actual words, not words to the effect. Infinite God is within me, and I am a part of that infinity. So in other words, we are all a part of that. So that's what the author is saying, that I feel that I'm just a spark of that sun, which has apparently separated eons ago, and now I'm going back to the sun. I was not yet aware that this was a blessed moment in which you brought me within the intimate orbit of your gravitation, a sign that my real journey has begun. In my understanding, that moment, we call it, we used to joke about, Baba bug. Bug, when the bug bites, when Baba's bug bites you, then that is the moment you are now transforming yourself, and you are being
Homeward.
catapulted homeward. You are now moving homeward. Otherwise, a lot of us do Baba, Baba, Baba. Okay, I'm not disputing that. But the bug has to bite you, in short, that really, that it is Baba and no one else and nothing else. And now I am on my way homewards that way. For a while, my spirit quaked before the dark, immeasurable chasm that stretched before me. Chasm is an abyss, or you can call it an unfathomable gulf. And yet my heart rejoiced with the certainty that it was now bound for home. Many times, for many people in the initial stages, although we are sure that our heart is now bound for home, there are some kind of dark clouds, what we call as doubts, that keep coming and going for a while, and they are healthy signs, nothing to be afraid about, nothing to fear about. They will go all by itself. What drastic changes your glance produced in me? It makes drastic changes in our behavior in life. I remember, again, I can only share my story. When I started, I don't know whether loving Baba, believing in Baba, following Baba, whatever. I was considered as I would consider as I was considered as mad, as crazy, as stupid, as being a spoiled, because I was the first one in the family. But then my behavioral changes that happened after coming with Baba infused a kind of a confidence in the family that no, whatever that Baba may be, he may be a fraud, he may be anything, but definitely he has instilled some changes in my behavior, and that is how the entire family later on came in. So there's the whole issue. I keep saying, that Baba is not going to may stop, but is not going to stop difficulties from coming, problems from coming, accidents from coming, sicknesses from coming, hospitalization from coming, or death for that matter. Only thing, all these things will help us in the right understanding of why things are happening the way they are happening, and the right response that you will be able to give to whatever is happening. I personally feel that's a very important thing. That is where the changes take place. So here he says, what drastic changes your glance produced in me? The veils of my so-called wisdom, so proudly worn, I'm very wise, I know more than the others, now voluntarily dropped away, revealing that I am no longer a teacher of anyone. It was goodbye to that teaching business for good. This discovery made me chuckle wholeheartedly, especially when I heard the world heave a sigh of relief. Oh, thank God, he's not a teacher anymore, that kind of thing. A kind of a humorous uh, refrain. So, no more masks, no more deceit. You're very open, no deceit, no more mask. After all, trying to be selfless, very important sentence. You try to be selfless is just a sophisticated form of selfishness in respectable garb. There is no question of trying to be selfless. You just are selfless. That means you don't make believe, like you don't behave as if you are selfless. Then that is a hypocrisy. You are selfless in the most natural, spontaneous way. This made clear to me that there is no need for me to imitate or emulate anyone. I don't need to copy anyone. I am unique in my own way, and I am okay with what I am, and I belong to Baba, and Baba belongs to me. That's it. I'm not bothered about whatever anybody may think or feel or judge me in whichever way they want to do that. How could I how could I do so when I feel that it would dishonor your call? That means if I try to emulate anybody, if I want to follow in somebody's footsteps, it would be dishonoring your call. Baba wants us to be what we are. natural, the way we are. Anyway, now sometimes I feel I belong to no one and that no one belongs to me. At times I feel I don't even belong to myself. What a strange predicament. Predicament is a tight spot. How I'm in such a tight spot that I don't know what I am, where do I belong. Life has become an adventure full of suspense. That's what we all expect. That's what we all experience. It is not just smooth flowing. Smooth flowing life means, like somebody said, that when there's a straight line, it means you are dead, in a, what is it, ECG. So here it says life has become an adventure full of suspense, comprising moments of fear and agony, interspersed, that means at intervals, interspersed with moments of security and bliss. And that's how life for all of us is. And that is not important. What we go through is not important, but how we handle what we go through is all the most important, because that would determine whether at every step of the way, am I binding myself all the more, or am I emancipating myself, or freeing myself from the bondage. The meteoric way hurtles through the dark void of ignorance to crash into the fullness of your being, the abode of light, the source of all meteors. So here ends this chapter. If there is anything to ask, please feel free to ask. I don't think there's anything to ask. Yeah. Okay then. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Jai Baba and thank you, Baba. See you all on Tuesday. Avatar Meher.
Meher Baba ki
Jai.
jai.
Jai.